Viewers, for the second time in about 24 hours, U.S. President Donald Trump has ramped up his tariff tirade against India. Accusing India of not being a good trading partner, Donald Trump announced that he's going to raise the tariffs very substantially because it continues to buy Russian oil. Once again, he has accused India of fueling the war machine. In fact, President Donald Trump also has said that tariffs on pharmaceuticals imported into the United States of America could eventually reach up to 250%, the highest rate he has threatened so far to any country. Now, Trump's unhinged tirade has drawn a warning from fellow Republican. Nikki Haley, former U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, criticized the Trump administration for its double standards. Haley said that China, an adversary and the #1 buyer of Russian and Iranian oil, got a 90-day tariff pause and cautioned Trump to not burn relationship with a strong ally like India. In fact, viewers, earlier, India too had pointed out similar double standards of America, and said both the US as well as the EU are continuing their trade relations with Russia. India has given it back in equal measure. In fact, in a strong statement, the strongest one till date, Modi government has called out Trump's intimidation tactics. Without sounding brash, Ministry of External Affairs basically told the US to go take a hike. Listen in. And before we get you that reaction, in fact, on being asked about imposing 100% tariffs on all countries that purchase Russian energy, including China, U.S. President Donald Trump says, and I quote, "I never said a percentage, but we'll be doing quite a bit of that. We'll see what happens over the next fairly short period of time, but we will see what happens. We have a meeting with Russia tomorrow. We're going to see what happens," unquote. So this is what Trump said.
Do you still plan to follow through on your threat to impose 100% tariffs on all countries that purchase Russian energy, including China?
Well, I never said a percentage, but we'll be doing quite a bit of that. We'll see what happens over the next fairly short period of time, but we'll see what happens. Yep. You know, they have a meeting tomorrow. We have a meeting with Russia tomorrow. We're going to see what happens. We'll make that determination at that time.
Let's now go across to my colleague Rishabh joining us on the broadcast for more on this. Rishabh, now the latest thing that we are keeping an eye on is this 24-hour deadline that Donald Trump had again set for India, wherein he said that there's going to be, of course, 25% plus a penalty, plus he wants to substantially raise tariffs as India continues to buy oil from Russia. So how is the Indian government looking at these continuous threats coming in from Donald Trump?
Well, just think about it. 25% tariff plus penalty plus this tax plus that tax plus Swachh Bharat tax, whatever Donald Trump is now adding to the tariff list against India. What if there is a reciprocal tariff? What if India decides that whatever you tariff us, we will start tariffing you or any product that originates from United States? The United States market will crash like anything. India is a market of 1.4 billion, and that is something that be it Nikki Haley, be it other Republicans or even Democrats are cautioning Donald Trump with, that do not burn the bridges with India. And the statements that are coming in, the rhetoric that is coming in from Washington is in a way not only unjustified but also misplaced. India has been accused by Washington for buying or purchasing the Russian oil. Russian oil being purchased under the cap that has been sanctioned against Russia is something which is in accordance with the international law, where India is not at fault. Russia is also trading with U.S. Uranium is being sent to Russia, from Russia to U.S. The LNG is being sent to Europe. About 65 billion worth of, trade has happened between Russia and European Union since 2022. 5 billion with India. So EU is basically, in their words, funding the Russian war against Ukraine 13 times more than what India is whatsoever.
And despite all of this, Rishabh, India is being accused of fueling the war machine. And this is clearly double standard. That's something that experts are also now talking about. Request you to stay on with us. In fact, we have more inputs coming in as far as this particular story is concerned. And viewers, now this is quite significant. So a question was asked. It was a direct question on U.S. imports of Russian uranium, chemical fertilizers, etc. Because, you know, Trump so far has been criticizing India for energy imports from Russia. But what about the imports of, U.S. that also come from Russia? On that specific question, U.S. President Donald Trump, viewers, said, I don't know anything about it. I have to check. Listen in.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
India says that the U.S. imports Russian uranium, chemicals, fertilizers, while criticizing their energy imports. Your response to that, sir?
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check, but we'll get back to you on that. Yeah, please.
So you heard, viewers, what U.S. President Donald Trump had to say. Don't know anything about it. So he is in a way feigning ignorance, as if he does not know how much U.S. really imports from Russia. And then why is it constantly accusing India of fueling the war machine by, actually saying that it is going to impose sharp tariff on India because India is buying oil from Russia, something that he does not really like, something that does not make him happy is the word that he had in fact used. Let's once again listen in to what exactly Donald Trump has said.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
India says that the U.S. imports Russian uranium, chemicals, fertilizers, while criticizing their energy imports. Your response to that, sir?
I don't know anything about it. I'd have to check, but we'll get back to you on that. Yeah, please.
Let's go back to my colleague Rishabh, who continues to be with us at this point in time. Rishabh, what do we make of this statement? In a way, Trump is exposing Trump. I mean, he does not know about the kind of imports United States of America has from Russia.
Well, that's where the problem lies. U.S. President has not been briefed correctly by the advisors. While there is a rhetoric against India's import from Russia, India is very clear that we are importing something that is required for a national interest, that is a national need. But you are going ahead and purchasing things like uranium or raw material for pharmaceuticals or fertilizers and whatnot, which you can procure from other places. But just because you get it cheaper via Alaska route from Russia, you are purchasing it. And if you go through the trading list, the Department of Trade and Commerce in the United States has a whole list of trading lists. It's very easy for anyone. Just go on the website, type Russia and country-wise trading, and you will get to know how much they have traded since 2022, since the beginning of war, and you'll find it that it's multifold than what India has purchased. And not only that, Donald Trump, when he says that he is not aware of it and he'll look into it, point is that you have been a president who has been in office for a second term for last 7 months. The world is reeling under trade issues because of your sporadic decision making via Truth Social, and now you say that, oh, I don't know what's happening within my country, and that's where the problem lies, that A, your advisors are not advising you correctly, B, you are not briefed well, informed well about your own home trade, and now you are out there deciding who will trade.
Rishabh, I'm just interrupting you there. Apologies for that. I'll come back to you. In fact, we are now joined by Rubinder Sachdev, who is an international affairs expert. Good morning. Thank you for speaking with us here on Times Now. What do you make of this? On one hand, we are seeing constant threats coming in for India from U.S. President Donald Trump on tariffs. On the other hand, when he was specifically asked, a question, what about the stuff that U.S. is importing from Russia? And Donald Trump responds by saying he doesn't know anything about it. He'll have to check.
I think what he's doing, he must definitely have an idea how much United States is importing from Russia at present. He would have that estimate without doubt. What he's trying to do is, I think he did not want to answer the question. He's deflecting the question. So that is the bottom line that I would see. The point is, Trump, in a way, says that don't look and see what I am doing, but do what I am telling you to do, right? So if in the United States, whatever we are doing, however we are doing, that is not your concern. Your concern is what I tell you and how you should act, behave, or your policies
But
change.
Mr. Sachdev, in your understanding, what is the reason, what could be the reason really that Donald Trump is constantly targeting India? Some kind of respite has come for China as well, which imports Russian oil, which imports Iranian oil as well. But why this constant targeting for India? For example, he's again given us a 24-hour deadline. He's spoken of 250% tariff on Indian pharmaceuticals.
No, certainly. I mean, you're very right to question why this, let's say, attitude of Donald Trump towards India in the last 3 months, right? Why has it reached where it is? Whereas he was very well, disposed towards India, and there was a very good chemistry and a very good understanding between our leaders and our people. I think what has happened over the past few months is that, one, Pakistan has played a role in spoiling this relationship somewhat a bit. I do think that. Secondly, Operation Sindoor, what Trump claimed and what he has been.
Right. I think we've lost that connection, but Mr. Rubinder Sachdev, appreciate you speaking with us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective. And viewers, a sharp message has come from New Delhi for Washington. The Ministry of External Affairs has exposed the U.S. double standards, revealing that America itself encouraged India to buy Russian oil, even as it continues to import both Russian oil as well as uranium. Now, slamming the selective targeting of India, the Ministry of External Affairs asserted that New Delhi will continue to act in its national interest and will not be really dictated to go by hypocrisy. Let's now tell you a little bit about the statements that have come from U.S. President Donald Trump and how India has really responded. So Donald Trump has said that India is buying massive Russian oil. MEA exposing America's duplicity there, saying that U.S. only pushed India to buy Russian oil. Now, this is very, very important. Trump's another claim is that India is selling Russian oil. India is buying cheap Russian oil and selling it in open market for big profits. That's his claim. And there has been a point-by-point rebuttal that has come from Ministry of External Affairs, and then MEA has also exposed the double standards, hypocrisy of Trump administration, because United States of America, while lecturing India on buying Russian oil, is continuously buying oil from Russia. The question is why? And then Trump has said there is no concern for Ukrainian debts. That's the point that he's making. Is India not concerned about the impact of Russia-Ukraine war, the debts that are taking place in Ukraine? The point really is that US is also importing Russian uranium. What happens to that? What happens to American imports from Russia? Why is Trump silent on it? And why is he feigning ignorance on that particular question? Then he says tariffs will be raised substantially. This is another threat that has come from US President Donald Trump. And MEA has made it clear that this is targeting of India that is happening, and targeting India is unjustified. Because on one hand, Trump keeps on saying that India is a good friend, India is a great friend, India is an ally for the United States of America. So then what explains this constant threat that's coming? Tariffs will be raised substantially is what he has said, and India making it absolutely clear that for us, national interest is paramount. We are not really going to be bullied by the tactics, the bargaining tactics of US administration. For us, it is national interest that comes above anything and everything else. So viewers, this is what we have seen happening between India and the United States of America. And amidst all of this, India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval has arrived in Russia for a high-level visit that is aimed at boosting strategic ties between New Delhi and Moscow. Now, his visit comes amid growing diplomatic tensions between India and the United States of America over India's continued imports of the Russian oil. Let's go across to my colleague Rishabh, who continues to be with us at this point in time. Rishabh, share with us a little bit of information that you have. What else can you share with us in terms of this visit of Ajit Doval to Moscow? What is on the agenda? Because messaging clearly is extremely important of this visit. Timing is very important, but what's on the agenda?
Well, see, this is a planned visit. This is not something that has happened after the tariff announcement or the tariff announcement or Trump going after BRICS leaders as well. The visit of Ajit Doval, the National Security Advisor, was a pre-decided one. On agenda is definitely the defense ties between the two countries. Also, how to take things forward, given that in December we are expecting President Putin to come to India, and India is going to host the annual India-Russia summit, for which Prime Minister went to Russia last year as the first visit in the third term. Now, but the eye is definitely on Moscow right now, that how India and Russia will go forward, given that the day 25% tariff was announced on India and the day this whole Russian oil rhetoric began from Washington, India, Russia, China, Brazil and other countries came together to expose the hypocrisy of West. And now that Ajit Doval is there, all eyes definitely would be on agenda is definitely the defense ties, the defense procurement that is pending. S-400s are definitely on the agenda. The other platforms as well, Joravar and others are also on agenda. So defense strategy as well as the annual summit is majorly on the agenda.
Thank you very much,